Welcome the anointed ones. The proud fall hardest, especially when they don't see it coming. Imagine a spotlight so bright that it reveals every hidden flaw, every masked motive, exposing those who thought they were untouchable. Now here's a fact. Historically, public figures, rulers, and schemers who played dirty rarely escaped humiliation when divine justice struck. Their carefully built empires, reputations, and facades didn't just crumble, they shattered for everyone to see. But here's the twist. The very ones who set traps for others are often the ones who fall face first into them. It's like watching someone set up a surprise birthday party and then forgetting it's for them. Today, we're talking about a different kind of surprise party, where God Himself orchestrates the ultimate payback for those who dared to play with His chosen. So sit tight, because when God's about to publicly humiliate your enemies, it's not just a spectacle, it's the kind of justice that even karma takes notes on. At number 1, the silent strike of divine timing. God's timing is silent and precise, like a clock ticking down in the background that only He hears. Your enemies often mistake that silence for inaction, thinking their schemes have gone unnoticed or, worse, approved. But that quietness is no accident. It's God setting the scene for a far bigger reveal than they ever expected. While they go about their days convinced they're untouchable, their confidence blinds them to the truth. Every move they make is being accounted for, down to the smallest detail. They think they're free from consequence, piling up offenses and carrying on like their power and status are untouchable. But divine timing is in play, and it's beyond any timeline they can imagine. God waits, allowing them to dig themselves deeper, letting them reach the point where they feel most secure in their actions. Then, when the time is perfectly ripe, God acts. There's no warning, no gradual decline. It's a swift and undeniable shift that leaves them no time to cover their tracks or feign innocence. Suddenly, their actions are exposed and everyone sees them as they truly are. They stand there, exposed, with no room to deny what's been done. The silence that once felt safe turns into a crushing weight, a reminder that they miscalculated on the biggest scale. They thought they could outmaneuver divine justice, but God was simply letting the clock tick until every detail was set. And the irony? They were too busy celebrating their victory to notice the trap tightening around them. In that quiet timing, God ensured the ultimate impact, delivering a justice that hits harder, leaves no room for escape, and makes sure they realize exactly what they've done. Number 2, their darkness will be their undoing. The darkness inside your enemies isn't just a hidden part of who they are. It's their downfall in the making. They believe their schemes, lies, and manipulation will stay in the shadows, away from anyone's view. But here's the truth. When God acts, He doesn't just bring justice. He turns that very darkness into the source of their exposure. It's as if the weight of every selfish act, every betrayal, and every attempt to undermine you becomes fuel for their own collapse. They operate in secrecy, feeling untouchable, thinking they can manipulate people and outcomes without consequence. But while they're busy building this hidden pile of resentment and envy, they're unaware that each piece they add to it will come back in ways they never planned. God doesn't have to create some outside punishment for them. Their own actions are the seeds of their downfall. All that hidden darkness is brought into the light, and it's harsh and undeniable. When this exposure happens, it's not subtle. Everyone around them, people they might have fooled or convinced, sees their true colors. The charm, the lies, the masks they wore so carefully all fall away, revealing their intentions. Suddenly, they're no longer in control of the narrative. What they tried to hide becomes the very thing that defines them. The power they thought they had turns to dust as their own darkness consumes them, leaving them scrambling to explain or justify what can no longer be denied. In the end, their downfall isn't just poetic justice. It's a self-made trap they fell into. God's justice is precise, letting their own deeds become the judgment against them. And as everyone sees the truth, they're left with nothing but the stark reality they created. Number 3, their power will collapse in public view. True humiliation doesn't happen in private. It happens in plain sight, with nowhere to hide. When God brings justice, It's not in whispered secrets or behind closed doors. It's out in the open, where everyone can see. The people who hurt you, who tried to discredit or control you, have often built entire lives on a facade, carefully curating their image so that others see them as powerful, trustworthy, or even admirable. But when God steps in, that image doesn't just crack, it shatters, leaving the truth bare for all to witness. For those who relied on their reputation as their shield, this kind of exposure is a harsh awakening. They've spent so much time building up an idea of themselves for others to admire or fear. They may have thought they were invincible, thinking they had everyone fooled. But when their actions are laid bare in public view, that carefully constructed image becomes nothing but an illusion, and everyone sees it. In this moment, they're stripped of the safety net of public opinion. The very people they tried to impress or control now see their flaws and betrayals up close. There's no room left for excuses and no story to hide behind. Their power, which once felt so strong, is suddenly as fragile as glass. This kind of public reckoning is different. It's not just about proving you right. It's about bringing the truth into full view so that everyone, friends, family, colleagues, can witness exactly who they are. And in that exposure, God isn't just holding them accountable. He's sending a message that no mask, no lie, and no illusion can hold up forever. What they valued most, their reputation, becomes the very thing that crumbles, all in front of the world. Number 4, your stillness was the trap. Your stillness, your patience, wasn't weakness. It was the trap they never saw coming. While your enemies took advantage of your silence, thinking you were vulnerable or easily pushed aside, they failed to realize that you were letting them reveal themselves. They mistook your quiet for surrender, assuming they could keep pressing, manipulating, or undermining without consequence. But that's where they were wrong. Your stillness was intentional, a space that allowed them to dig deeper and expose their true intentions without any interference from you. As they kept pushing, they only grew bolder, convinced that nothing could stop them. They interpreted your patience as permission, completely blind to the fact that you were watching, waiting, and letting them set themselves up. God often works this way, letting your calm become the very thing that exposes those who are against you. The more they acted, the more obvious their motives became. They ended up building a case against themselves, one that needed no defense from you. Your restraint was their trap, and they stepped right into it without a clue. When the time finally comes for the truth to emerge, it's undeniable. They can't go back and undo what they've done or erase the image they've created for everyone to see. Your silence becomes their spotlight, shining directly on everything they did, with no room for them to spin the story. Their own actions speak louder than anything you could have said or done. In the end, your patience paid off far more than any immediate reaction could have. You didn't need to prove anything. Their behavior proved everything. And when God allows that truth to come forward, it's unmistakably clear. They thought they were taking advantage, but all along, they were just stepping deeper into the very trap your stillness set for them. Number 5, he's turning their manipulation into a megaphone. When people turn on you, trying to make you the villain in their story, they often forget one thing. The truth doesn't change just because they want it to. They might twist facts, tell lies, and try to make everyone see you in a negative light. But no matter how much they push their narrative, reality has a way of surfacing. The thing about lies is they need constant maintenance. One slip, one forgotten detail, and the entire story starts to unravel. God sees all of this from the beginning, and when the time is right, he lets their version of events fall apart under its own weight. You don't have to defend yourself or try to prove what's real because the truth is solid. It doesn't bend or shift depending on who's looking at it. All those false accusations and twisted stories they created, they become a house of cards, and with one small nudge from reality, it all collapses. As their story crumbles, people start noticing the cracks. Things they said about you don't add up. The image they tried to paint of you no longer matches what others see. Those who once believed their version of you start questioning everything. The truth starts to stand on its own, without any need for defense or explanation from you. And that's the beauty of it. The truth is relentless. It doesn't need support to stay strong. Watching the truth rise to the surface is like watching a tide roll in, slowly but surely washing away every bit of the sandcastle they built on lies. And in that moment, they're left exposed, with no version of events left to hide behind. The reality they tried so hard to bury is out for everyone to see, proving that no matter how much they tried to twist it, the truth always wins. Number 6. Celebration that transcends just rewards. God's celebration is like nothing you've seen before. It's not just about getting something back or proving a point. It's about a profound personal blessing, so intricately designed that it feels tailor-made for your journey. When God brings rewards, they're far beyond what anyone could imagine. They're crafted for you, answering needs and dreams you may have set aside or even forgotten. It's a moment where everything comes full circle, a reversal so complete that it feels almost surreal. This isn't about a public show or just winning over your enemies. The blessings that arrive go deeper. They heal, renew, and empower you in ways you didn't even know you needed. It's a quiet but undeniable reminder that every struggle, every setback, and every ounce of patience had a purpose. And what's most powerful about these rewards is how they carry God's unique imprint. You feel it in every detail, as though it was hand-picked just for you. There's a satisfaction in knowing that no one else could have planned it this way. The timing, the form it takes, and the peace it brings all confirm the source. This is more than just compensation. It's a celebration that affirms your worth, refuels your spirit, and restores what was lost in ways that are beyond any human expectation. When it happens, you're left with a deep, quiet joy that doesn't need an audience to feel real, because you know it was designed by something greater. Number 7, your story becomes their lesson. When God delivers justice, it's not just your victory. It becomes a powerful lesson, echoing beyond the immediate situation. Those who watched in silence, who stood by or subtly supported those who tried to bring you down, aren't just passive bystanders anymore. They're faced with undeniable proof that there are consequences for every action, even for simply looking the other way. Your story becomes a live, undeniable example of what happens when someone tries to manipulate, betray, or undermine. This isn't about revenge, it's a revelation. It shows everyone around you that divine justice isn't something abstract, it's real and it's precise. Your journey, the battles you fought, and the patience you held onto become a testament that shatters any doubt about who truly holds the power. People start to see that every choice, every silent approval, and every complicity has a cost. This isn't just about the people who directly wronged you. It's a wake-up call to anyone who thought they could get away with similar actions or supported others in doing so. In this way, your story becomes a new standard, a warning that carries weight beyond your immediate circle. People are forced to reconsider their actions and the alliances they choose. This justice transforms from a personal victory into a public lesson, a marker of divine retribution that leaves a lasting impression. And as your life moves forward, you're not just someone who overcame a struggle, you're someone whose story set the record straight, showing that no wrongdoing goes unseen and no injustice goes unaddressed. Number 8, exposure that mirrors their own heart. God has a remarkable way of delivering justice that doesn't just address the actions of your enemies. It peels back the layers to expose the true nature of their hearts. This isn't a one-size-fits-all punishment. It's a precise and personal reckoning that reflects their intentions back at them. When their schemes unravel, it's as if the universe is holding up a mirror, revealing exactly who they are and what they've done. As their plans collapse, the details of their malicious intentions become clear for everyone to see. This exposure doesn't just show their actions, but lays bare the motivations that drove them. Were they filled with jealousy? Did they act out of spite or a desire for control? God's justice showcases their inner darkness, leaving no room for excuses or justifications. In that moment, the truth becomes undeniable, and their carefully curated facades fall away. Witnessing this reflection isn't just about seeing someone punished. It's a moment of clarity for everyone involved. Friends, family, and onlookers who may have been unsure about what was happening now have a front row seat to the consequences of betrayal and malice. It's a chilling yet enlightening experience as they realize the depths of deceit and cruelty that can reside in a person. This kind of divine exposure serves as a powerful reminder that our actions reveal our true selves. God's justice isn't just an abstract concept, it's a tangible reality that can be seen, understood, and felt. And in that revelation, your enemies are left with a stark realization. They've not only been held accountable for their actions, but have had their true selves laid bare for the world to see. Number 9, the power shift they can't escape. When God steps in, it's not just a moment of reckoning for your enemies, it's a seismic shift in the entire power dynamic. They may have walked around with an inflated sense of control, thinking their manipulations and schemes secured them a permanent place at the top. But when divine intervention occurs, that illusion shatters in an instant. The very ground they stood on starts to tremble, and suddenly, their perceived power evaporates. It's a complete transformation that alters the landscape of influence. This power shift is more than just a change in circumstances. It's a fundamental reordering of relationships. Those who once felt invincible and untouchable now find themselves on shaky ground, grappling with the reality that their dominance has been dismantled. What they once viewed as a solid grip on power turns out to be nothing more than a mirage, easily swept away by a higher authority. In that moment, everyone around them sees the truth. The tables have turned, and it's evident that they can no longer control the narrative or the outcomes of their actions. This shift has profound implications for your enemies. No longer are they the architects of your struggles. They've become the architects of their own downfall. The power dynamic doesn't just flip, it flips in a way that leaves a lasting mark. Those who tried to manipulate, intimidate, or belittle you are now forced to reckon with the consequences of their choices. The landscape is forever altered, and they find themselves grappling with the fallout while you rise into the space that's been cleared for you. What's remarkable is that this shift isn't just a temporary change, it establishes a new order. Their former influence is replaced by a recognition of your strength and resilience. The world witnesses this divine restructuring, and it serves as a powerful reminder that no one can escape the hand of God when it comes to justice. The power they once wielded is gone, and in its place is an undeniable acknowledgement of your rightful place in the story. Number 10, witnessing their cracks under pressure. Witnessing the downfall of your enemies isn't just a quick spectacle. It's more like a slow-motion train wreck that everyone gets to see. God doesn't just pull the rug out from under them in one swift move. Instead, He orchestrates a gradual unveiling that leaves them scrambling to maintain their facade while their foundation crumbles beneath them. It's like watching someone try to hold up a perfectly fine building made of toothpicks and marshmallows. No matter how hard they try to keep it together, everyone knows it's just a matter of time before it all comes crashing down. As their carefully constructed image begins to crack, it's both tragic and a bit comical. You see them sweating bullets, trying to keep that brave smile plastered on their faces while their insides are churning with panic. It's the kind of scene that could inspire a sitcom. Friends and foes alike gather to witness this slow disintegration, and what a show it is. People lean in, popcorn in hand, ready for the next act of this theatrical tragedy. Each misstep they take becomes a chapter in the unfolding narrative. With every attempt to prop up their illusion, they expose more of their true selves. Their allies, who once stood firm beside them, start to distance themselves, realizing they don't want to be part of the fallout when the whole charade finally collapses. The humiliation isn't just a flash in the pan, it stretches out, giving everyone ample opportunity to see the real impact of their actions. By the time their facade finally collapses, everyone is well aware of who they really are behind the scenes. And while it's sad to see someone fall from grace, there's a strange satisfaction in knowing that their attempts to pretend have failed spectacularly. They wanted to control the narrative, but now they've become the punchline in a divine joke, one that reminds everyone watching that truth always finds a way to shine through, no matter how hard you try to keep it hidden. Number 11, turning your pain into public honor. Every hardship you faced, every moment your enemies tried to tear you down, is about to be repurposed into something extraordinary. God doesn't let your pain go to waste. Instead, He turns it into the very foundation of your public honor. Each struggle becomes a stepping stone, each setback a building block that contributes to the grand structure of your eventual celebration. Your journey isn't just a series of unfortunate events. It's a carefully crafted masterpiece of resilience and strength. When you rise from the ashes of your pain, it's not just about bouncing back. It's about transforming into something more powerful than you were before. Every insult, every attempt to undermine you, becomes a layer in the rich tapestry of your victory. This isn't merely a comeback story. It's a profound metamorphosis. You're not the same person who endured those trials. You're a stronger, more determined version of yourself, armed with wisdom and insight that can only come from surviving the storm. As you step into your well-deserved recognition, your enemies will witness the very fruits of their attempts to humiliate you. What they intended to use as weapons against you will instead be the tools of your triumph. They thought they could break you, but instead, they inadvertently forged you into a symbol of strength and perseverance. Your journey becomes an inspiration, a testament to the fact that even the darkest moments can give birth to the brightest victories. This transformation isn't just for you. It resonates with everyone who has faced their own trials. Your story becomes a beacon of hope, showing that pain can lead to purpose, and that every struggle can culminate in honor. So as the world watches you rise, they don't just see your victory. They see the incredible journey that brought you here, a journey that proves nothing can define you but your own resilience. In this moment, your pain turns into public honor, and every eye that once looked down on you will now be forced to acknowledge the power of your transformation. Number 12, He's making their envy visible to all. God doesn't just expose the actions of your enemies, He goes deeper, revealing the very motives that drove their hostility. When divine justice unfolds, it pulls back the curtain on their envy, making it painfully visible to everyone around. What was once a hidden resentment is now laid bare for all to see, stripping away any illusions they might have maintained. This isn't just about showing their wrongdoings. It's about illuminating the true source of their malice, the envy that festered in their hearts. As this envy comes into the light, it becomes glaringly obvious that the root of their animosity was never really about you. Instead, it reflects their own insecurities, shortcomings, and the darkness they refuse to acknowledge within themselves. God's justice reveals that their problem was never your success or your worth. It was their inability to confront their own feelings of inadequacy. This revelation shifts the narrative completely, turning the spotlight from you to them, where it rightly belongs. The humiliation they face is not just for their actions, but for the motivations behind them. Everyone witnesses how envy can warp a person's judgment and lead them down a path of bitterness and hostility. Those who once stood in judgment are now forced to grapple with the reality that the true issue lay within their own hearts. This public unveiling serves as a cautionary tale, reminding others of the dangers of letting envy dictate behavior. In this way, God's justice acts like a magnifying glass, intensifying the heat on their motives until they can't hide anymore. Friends, colleagues, and even casual observers start to see the cracks in their character. It becomes evident that what they projected onto you was a reflection of their internal struggles. As this understanding sinks in, the tide turns in your favor, and your enemies are left exposed, grappling with the fallout of their own envy. They wanted to drag you down, but instead they've shown the world exactly who they are. A stark reminder that envy, in all its ugliness, ultimately reveals more about the envier than the envied. In the grand tapestry of life, God's divine justice is an intricate thread that weaves together the stories of triumph and transformation. As your enemies are exposed and their envy laid bare, you stand not just as a survivor, but as a testament to the power of resilience and faith. Every hardship you've endured becomes a badge of honor, and every moment of humiliation they tried to inflict upon you transforms into a catalyst for your ultimate victory. This isn't just a story of retribution. It's a profound journey of self-discovery and elevation. As you rise above the ashes of their envy, you embody the truth that what was meant to break you has instead made you stronger, wiser, and undeniably powerful. Your celebration isn't merely personal. It reverberates throughout your community, inspiring others to confront their own challenges and to rise above the darkness that may try to envelop them. In witnessing your transformation, they learn that their struggles can also lead to empowerment and public honor. So as you move forward, remember that God has not only crafted your victory, but has also illuminated the path for others to follow. Your enemies may have sought to tarnish your name, but what they didn't realize is that their actions would only serve to amplify your light. With every step you take into your new reality, let their envy be a reminder of your strength and a beacon for those still in the shadows. This is your moment, a divine celebration of all that you are, and a powerful message that truth and resilience will always prevail. If you found this message resonating with you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more empowering content that lifts your spirit and fuels your journey. We're here to share stories of triumph and transformation that remind us all of the power of resilience and faith. We want to hear from you. Share your thoughts, experiences, and reflections in the comments below. Let's create a community that celebrates strength, supports one another, and thrives together. And remember, sharing this video with friends and family can help spread the message of hope and empowerment even further. Your voice matters. Join the conversation and let's uplift each other.